Ubisoft is planning to implement low-quality AI created with the help of DLSS 5 into Assassin's Creed. In principle, the entire industry is preparing to switch to neural networks, so that instead of this misunderstanding, we get this masterpiece. Not this, but this beauty. She looks even better with wrinkles. And my question to Ubisoft was obviously a no-brainer. You brought back so many good Assassin's Creed developers, came up with a development plan for the series, and all of this just to add this AI slop? Are you kidding me?
And here is an interesting situation. Let's talk about what will actually happen with Assassin's Creed, and what this DLSS 5 thing is, why it needs to be cut out of Assassin's Creed right now, and honestly, from all games in general. At the end of 25, I warned you about AI slop. It was even funny to me back then, but now it's no laughing matter. NVIDIA came out with their DLSS 5, a revolutionary technology that failed completely. There are a minimum of positive reviews, and hate is everywhere. Of course, at first glance, it looks like the technology improves the picture. Look at this Leon, and now look at this realistic Leon. Oh my, oh my. What is the problem exactly? The industry is moving forward. We are striving for photorealism, and now we basically have it. NVIDIA did everything. Look, it's so realistic. It's a scam.
I know there are many AI supporters, and I will have a serious talk with you later. So I want you to 100% understand what this technology is and why I want it nowhere near Assassin's Creed. Near my Assassin's Creed. Yes, that's right. The series belongs to me from this minute on. I'm even on the same Discord server as the devs. You barely realize who you're dealing with. And look, in reality, this is an unfair graphics upgrade. DLSS 5 or S5 does not improve facial animation, eye movement, cloth physics, or how the engine itself works. S5 simply takes an already existing frame and overlays a filter on it, redrawing it with a neural network. If you look purely at static images, it still looks more or less presentable, and even them, not everywhere. The problems begin when the gameplay starts. Firstly, the filter creates more realistic characters, but the animations remain the same. So the uncanny valley effect is simply massive. It looks pathetic. Secondly, and this is the main problem, S5 redraws everything haphazardly based on how the technology itself interprets the frame. Therefore, it changes the shape of the eyes, nose, and mouth, and unjustifiably adds age. A character looks like a teenager, and then, bam, we have a 40-year-old man with a lifetime of baggage in front of us. Characters stop looking like themselves, and this caused such a wave of justified hate because people finally began to understand what an artistic direction is. In every game, no matter how old it is, there was an art director who put a specific vision into this game, and AI strips games of this. Look at shadows. Yes, everything looks quite realistic, but it feels like it's not the game itself, but a social media filter. It's a pity they didn't show the characters, although actually there's nothing to regret, because they showed the characters in Oblivion, and it's a nightmare there. We were all afraid of the faces in the original game back in the day, but S5 makes it 10 times worse. Look at this elf. What kind of horror is this? It's as if a real photograph was stretched over a character model. Looking at him, you constantly want to ask about his strange origin and his files. I am frustrated. Only Crimson Desert is distracting me from this gamer rage. Back to the slop. These beauty filters are truly terrible. They cause discomfort. Again, characters are like robots that seem to look like people, but they are not people. And the brain gives you a signal. It's an imposter. Run. And the problem with this visual style is that it reduces artistic value to 0, making all games look as similar as possible, glossy and sterile. The light in Oblivion becomes similar to the light in Shadows and the light in Starfield. The neural network doesn't understand what the artist wanted to do. It simply fit everything into the same template. And the main problem here is that NVIDIA is again providing technology for laziness. Previously, developers were given upscales to ignore optimization, and now they are given tools to ignore the creation of visuals altogether. That is, they can literally create some nonsense and slap a DLSS 5 filter on top and say, the game won't launch without this thing. No need to deeply improve the engine or invest heavily in graphical architecture. Why bother? We'll make it however it turns out, and then we'll bring it to a release date with AI. As one Western blogger rightly noted, this is also a very good way to warm up players because you can show them neural screenshots, incredibly realistic graphics, but after the release, you'll say, well, that was only on PC with the top tier 50 series card, and on consoles, everything is different. And the most important thing, I'm not against AI itself, but it needs to be implemented into the engine and not just used to make such pathetic filters. The technology can be used to improve particles, wind, smoke, dust, hair, how glass breaks. You can show this realistically both visually and physically. That is, AI should become part of the game simulation. It should help provide a unique physical result, from the weather to how clothing moves. Here's the difference. The technology needs to be implemented inside the game. It should be done by people, manually. But NVIDIA suggests not making changes to the game itself, but simply, here's an automatic beauty filter for you. I was shocked that the Assassin's Creed devs were going to use this, and luckily, it all turned out to be fake. The developers later said that they knew absolutely nothing about it. Many studios have an agreement with NVIDIA. They understood that their games would be used to showcase technologies, but they didn't think it would be for these kinds of technologies. Ubisoft has been criticized for many things over the years, mostly justified, but they never made ugly games. Even the most uninteresting grinders had stunning visuals. And for these people to trade all of that for an Instagram filter? I mean, it's a joke. Visuals are literally the last thing they haven't forgotten how to do. NVIDIA was incredibly desperate for support from publishers, but Ubisoft only made one neutral post, and they were hated so much that in the end, they deleted everything. Even they said, hell no, we're not getting involved in this. And to reduce the damage, the head of NVIDIA stated, supposedly, that you didn't understand anything. This is neural rendering. It sounds powerful, and he's not even lying, but it is misleading. His words make it sound like the AI is actually participating in the creation of the world, but in reality, it's just guessing what should be there and drawing it based on its own data. It tries to predict what will be in the next frame, adding foliage, fog, shadows. There are moments where it looks okay, especially nature, but mostly the AI breaks the visuals of human models. You might ask, if the system is so bad, why is it being shoved down people's throats? It's a funny situation. The problem is that over the past year, companies around the world spent almost $500 billion on AI. They fired people, changed work processes, and none of it had any impact. The impact of AI on real economic growth is zero. The only thing they managed to give birth to for the gaming industry is this. Investors and managers don't understand that games are not just about realistic graphics. Games are about resonance. If you launch a game and it resonates with you in terms of gameplay, visuals, and plot, you will love it. The meaning of art is that people are moved by something, and they express it through creativity. When the authors of God of War or RDR2 put their personal experience and their feelings into a project, it resonates with all of us. We feel what the author felt. And the more we make soulless open worlds based on reports from effective managers, the more we hand over visual creation to a neural network based on guessing, the more we devalue the gaming industry as a culture. AI simulates something good, but the deception only works for a second until you realize there is nothing behind this. There's no human experience behind it. The suits are pushing the soul further and further out of games, and at some point we might reach a place where in a new game you won't feel anything at all because its author felt nothing during its creation. Fortunately, this is an unlikely scenario because we are against this. AI is one of the biggest soap bubbles in history, and soon it will burst. Even Ubisoft realized this. Assassin's Creed will not use this kind of AI. Thank you very much for being here. Thanks for the like and the sub, and see you soon, guys.